Welcome to the third installment of the Josh Widman Basketball Show. Again, I am riding solo, but that is not a problem. First, we're talking college hoops. And a bunch of games, big games, have transpired recently, including the LSU Tigers over the number 9 ranked Kentucky Wildcats. Ben Simmons gets the better of Isaiah Briscoe again. They played in a special showcase game at Kane last year that I was at. Briscoe didn't even look like he was trying and still dropped like 28, but no worries, whatever. LSU finally gets by Kentucky, and Kentucky suffers their third loss of the season, but still yet to lose at home at Rupp Arena. The number 1 ranked team in the land, the Kansas Jayhawks, defeated the number 2 ranked team in the nation, the Oklahoma Boomer Sooners, in Lawrence in triple overtime. Arguably one of the best games that I have personally ever watched. It's up there. Buddy Hield, National Player of the Year candidate, and probable lottery pick if he keeps it up, dropped 46, carrying his team. Oklahoma, even though they lost, they can shoot the rock, and they're going to be a team to be reckoned with come the March tournament. Jim Boeheim is clear now to return to the bench after his suspension, and Syracuse needs it. They lost to Clemson in the Carrier Dome. Don't think that's ever happened before. At least not for a very long time. I don't think they've ever done that since Jim Boeheim took over. But if anyone's going to right the ship in Upper New York, it's going to be Mr. Boeheim. And the Ohio State Buckeyes, there was a decent recruiting class. They were expected to do some things in the Big Ten. They got off to a slow start, but a few weeks ago they got a big win over Kentucky at the Barclays Center in the Champions Classic, and they have not lost since. And on Wednesday night, they finished off a tough road win against Northwestern in Illinois. And Indiana, in a big unranked matchup against Wisconsin in Bloomington, Indiana got the much-needed home win without probably their best player, James Blackman Jr., and they need him back if they're going to do anything serious come March. Now on to the pros. Right now, top 8 in the Eastern Conference are my Cavaliers, of course, the Chicago Bulls, Miami Heat, the Toronto Raptors, the Atlanta Hawks, the Indiana Pacers, the Detroit Pistons, and the Boston Celtics. Yes, Knicks fans, your team is still out of the playoffs. Get over it. In the West, we have Golden State, of course, followed by San Antonio, the Thunder, the Clippers, who never seem to move from that 4 spot, the Mavs, playing well, Dirk Nowitzki defying Father Time, the Memphis Grizzlies, who are just kind of there. They just grind you out. That's what they've done for the past 4 years under Dave Yeager. The Rockets, who are underperforming after firing their coach, I believe it was like a handful of games into the season, and the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz have had solid draft picks and solid talent pooling for years, and I guess they're finally coming together. And that's good, because the Western Conference is no slouch. There are some teams out in the West that if they were in the East, they would easily make the playoffs. I think maybe the Timberwolves even, maybe that might be a stretch this year, but definitely next year they would. And then maybe even the Sacramento Kings. They have a bunch of talent. They can't seem to put it together either. The Philadelphia 76ers are at 4-33. Just pause for a moment. Just let that sink in. They're 4-33. And they have some talent on that team. And they've given away talent as well. Sam Hinkie, I don't know what he's doing. He belongs in the Browns organization the way he's rolling right now. And speaking of the Cleveland Browns, you know what? I don't even want to speak about the Cleveland Browns. I don't want to agitate myself. I can't. But Sam Hinkie, I don't know what he is doing in Philadelphia. Adam Silver has even considered getting rid of him, telling him to step down. And like my friends from Philly, I want him to. Enough trading talent for second-round picks. I mean, yes, you could find someone good in the second round, but why? Why trade KJ McDaniels, who was your starting 2 guard last year, and doing some good things for your team, for like a second-round pick and maybe some other scrub? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Now you have three big men in your organization, and none of them are skilled enough to slide over to the small forward position because none of them can really shoot that well. You have Nerlens Noel, who's good on defense, and Jahlil Okafor, who you gotta keep because he can play both ends of the floor, and Joel Embiid, who is yet to play a minute of professional basketball in the NBA. My opinion, I think you get rid of Embiid while he has value now, and you keep Noel, and you keep Okafor. You move Embiid for a point guard. Why did they trade Michael Carter-Williams? I don't understand it. They gave him away for practically nothing. Michael Carter-Williams, the reigning rookie of the year, and developing, and now he's developing very well in Milwaukee under Jason Kidd, and they just gave him away for practically nothing. I don't understand it. If you have him, Noel, and Okafor, and throw in a two guard and a small forward, it's a solid starting five. The bench, we'll get to the bench you can fix later, but that's a solid first three for a young team in the Eastern Conference.
But hey, I'm not running the Sixers.
In my opinion, I think Karl Anthony Towns, New Jersey's own, should win Rookie of the Year. Kristaps Porzingis is getting all this attention because he plays in New York, but if you check the box score, Porzingis will have 2 good games, and then a real bad game, and an game. Meanwhile, Karl Towns is out there averaging a double-double in the Western Conference, matching up with the likes of LaMarcus Aldridge and Serge Ibaka and other quality big men, while Kristaps Porzingis is just doing whatever in New York, but he's getting the coverage.
He's getting the coverage.
That wraps this installment of the Josh Widman Basketball Show up. We'll see you next time.